What's poppin', people? You man Zeus is bringing you guys a build on cyberpowerpc.com. A lot of you guys have been asking me for a cheap PC build. A lot of you guys want to get into PC gaming. A lot of you guys already have desktops and just want to upgrade it to be able to play PCs. And I can't help you. I can't help each and every one of you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this video and another video after this, showing you guys what a good build is, what a cheap build is, yada yada yada, what's good, what parts I like, what parts I don't like, what parts I recommend, what parts I don't. To start off this video, I'm not the best at this stuff. I'm not the smartest about computers, but I do know a few things after building my computer and researching for a long time. So I do know a thing or two about building PCs and choosing the right parts. But as far as knowing every single part and what every part's capability, no, don't come here for that. I know a lot of things, but I don't know everything. So to start off, I'm going to show you guys a cheap build. And if you want to get a cheap build, you pretty much have to go with AMD, unless you're building the PC yourself. Because when you're building the PC itself, you can save a lot of money. But if you want to buy it from this website, pick this build over here, which is the AMD quad-core configurator. And if you want me to make a video about me just showing you guys what build to get, what parts to get, if you want to build it yourself, just watch this video, and the parts that I choose from this website, purchase similar parts and build it yourself. By building this PC yourself, you're probably going to save yourself between $100 to $300. So you're definitely going to save a lot of money building the PC by yourself. To start off, they give you a really nice case, and you don't really need to change it. I mean, cases are not too important unless you're really getting heavily into gaming and you want to get like 3 graphics cards and you want to get a huge motherboard and all this stuff and like 6 hard drives and 17 CD drives. I mean, this should do you fine. This case is pretty good. I mean, it has everything you need. There's nothing it has everything you need and nothing that you don't need. So one problem over here to see that you'll see when you see this build is that frames per second is only 13 when you're playing this game. When you're playing Modern Warfare 2 on 1080p, when you're playing StarCraft 2, you only need to get 26 FPS. Firmware benchmark is 9. So what they're trying to tell you is that this graphics card is shit and you should upgrade it. They're also going to show your power supply, which is only 450 watts, and that's going to be a problem. So this is the case. Like I said, if you guys like this case, keep it. If you don't like it, I recommend this over here, the Coolermaster half 912. So we're going to stick with this case. I really recommend it. It's a great case. But that's what we're going to say. You know what? We'll just stick with this case just to save $18. So we're just going to stick with that case. It looks nice. Nothing's wrong with it. So over here, you'll see the processors. Stick with this. It's a quad core. It's a great processor. If you want to go for the 6 core, go ahead, knock yourself out. But if you're building this PC by yourself, I really suggest that you get a AMD Phenom X4 955 Black Edition instead of this processor, because this is one of the bulldozer processors that AMD came out with recently, and there's mixed reviews about it. Some people say it's good, some people say it's bad, but the 955 Black Edition has already been proven to be a great quad core processor. But going back to what I said, do not go for this 6 core, because I thought about it, and if you're going to spend the $70 to get this 6 core, you might as well go and buy yourself an Intel computer, because Intel computers are much better. You get much more for your money. But AMD's is good value. Don't worry. If you don't have enough money, stick with AMD. You'll save a lot of money. They'll do perfectly fine in gaming. No problem. So they're giving you a free liquid cooling system, a free upgrade from the whatever it is. Or not a free upgrade. You're paying $20 for it. But what I recommend over here is the Coolermaster Hyper 212 Plus, or Evo. They have the Evo. I recommend this CPU cooler. This is basically to cool off your CPU to make sure it doesn't get hot. This one, but I think this should be fine. If you want to upgrade more, if you want a really good CPU cooler, get this, the Corsair H60 high performance liquid cooling system. This is a closed circuit system, so which means that you don't have to change the water or the coolant or whatever it is. You just put it and leave it. If you're building it yourself, you just assemble it and you don't worry about it. If you buy it from this website, it's just going to get shipped to you and you never have to worry about it and fix it. But for those of you who want to save money, you can either go with this one or the Coolermaster Hyper 212. I don't know anything about this cooling system over here, this Antec one. Acetec, I don't even know who that is. Never heard of them. I don't think you should go with them. Never heard of that company. So either go with this Coolermaster Hyper 212 or go with the Corsair Hydro H60. I'm going to stick with the H60 since it's a little bit better and it's not much more money. Moving on, the motherboard that they give you is perfectly fine. It has USB 3, SATA 3, PCI X16, which means that you run your graphics card perfectly fine on there. It has 7.1 audio. I mean, it has everything you want. It's an ATX motherboard, which is great. AM3 Plus. Don't worry about that. It's a great motherboard. Okay, so here's when you get to either upgrade, or you don't. And this is 4 gigs of memory. They're giving you an upgrade from 1333 megahertz to 1600 megahertz, which is pretty fast. And it's a great upgrade, but I personally have 8 gigabytes in my computer, and I prefer 8 gigabytes just because I like to multitask a lot. But if you're trying to save money, stick with 4 gigabytes. You're going to save $54. It's not worth spending the extra $54 just to get another 4 gigabytes of RAM. You can go on Amazon and buy 8 gigs of RAM for $30, $40. So don't buy it from this website. Stick with the 4 gigabytes. If you run into any problems, if it's not good enough for you, then upgrade to 8. But you still should be perfectly fine with 4 gigabytes. I don't doubt that you'll be fine with 4 gigabytes. Trust me. 4 gigabytes should be enough. Moving on to the graphics processor, which is a lot of people's favorite part of their computers. I don't really care too much about the graphics processor. I just want something that can run my games, which is why I got the 560 Ti, even though it's a bit expensive. As you can see, it was kind of expensive, but it was like $230 for me. But I built my computer by myself, so I kind of, got my computer for cheaper. So when you're going to get this build, you're going to have to ask yourself a few questions. First of all, are you going to be playing Battlefield 3? Are you going to be playing Crysis 2? Are you going to be playing Bad Company 2? Crysis 1? Are you going to play any of these games that are graphics processor intensive? Are you going to play any of these games that are going to require a lot from your graphics processor and your CPU? If so, I recommend we go with an Intel computer and a 560 Ti or higher. The Nvidia GTX 560 Ti or the AMD Radeon 6950 if you want to play Battlefield 3 and record at the same time. Okay, now if you don't want to play Battlefield 3, you can go with the 6770 over here, which will pretty much play all the Call of Duty games, Minecraft, all those games, no problem. But the graphics card I strongly recommend is the 6870. This will be able to play Battlefield 3. If you're going to be playing Battlefield 3 all the time, I recommend the 6950. But if you're going to play it sometimes, you're going to play other games and you want to save money, the 6870 will do fine. I know a lot of people who play Battlefield 3 and have this graphics card never had any problems, but maybe later on down the road you're going to have to upgrade. But for now, this thing is a great graphics processor. The 6870 is great. If you want to save money, go for the 6770 since they have a New Year's special on it. I mean, it's not that bad, but don't try to, you're probably not going to be able to play Battlefield 3 on high, ultra settings. I mean, you're probably going to play Battlefield 3 on maybe lower, medium settings with this graphics processor. So I suggest you get the 6870 or the 6950. But it's up to you. It's all your choice. What I suggest right now is go for the 6870. So that's what we're gonna pick in this build. The 6870, really great processor, graphics processor. Moving on, a second video card, you really don't need that. Third video card, definitely don't need that. Now power supply. A lot of people will go ahead and buy, okay, so you see over here power supply, 450 watts, it suggests 700 watts. Now I'm going to tell you that this computer does not need 700 watts. You can go 650 watts, 620 watts, you'll be fine. They suggest 700 watts just to be safe, but 650 will do you just fine. Corsair over here has great power supplies. This one over here, the 650 watt Corsair power supply, is great. It will do your system well. And if you don't, trust me, this tells you what is recommended. See suggested. They say required, but it's actually suggested. If you look online and even Google it, is the Corsair 650 watt power supply enough for a 6870 and a quad core processor? You're going to be fine. I have an Intel 2500K which demands more power and it's overclocked, and I have a more intensive graphics processor, which is the 560 Ti. It requires a lot more power than the 6870, and I'm still running perfectly fine. Never had any problems with 650 watt power supply. This is the power supply I have, and I still have a lot of headroom. I mean, some people even have 2 graphics cards with this power supply. I mean, if you want to go 2 graphics cards and run Crossfire, I suggest 750 to 850 watts. If you get one of the higher end cards and you want to do SLI or Crossfire, go to the 1000, like something like that watts. But for now, 650 watts is great. I don't really recommend going with Extreme Gear or Thermaltake. I know they're cheap. If you want to go with them, go ahead, but I don't really recommend it. I say go with Corsair. It's a trusted brand, really great quality power supply. And you never know when the 700 watt power supply is going to shit on you and stop working. I mean, a lot of people have problems with these extreme gear power supplies. They're not that great of quality, and they're just cheap. That's why they sell. So go with the Corsair 650 watt. This one's going to do you real good, and you'll still have a lot of headroom. So stick with that power supply. If you're still worried about this, go ahead and go with a 700 watt power supply. Knock yourself out, but this will do you just fine. Moving on, 1 terabyte, SATA 3, 6.0 gigabyte per second, 32 megabyte cache, 7200 RPM hard drive. Perfectly fine. Do not, I repeat, do not go for this hard drive, because you're only saving $13 and you're getting a lot less speed and a lot less space for the money. So stick with this 1 terabyte drive. You get a lot more for your money. Moving on, if you want to get a solid state drive, you can do it. I mean, it's all up to you. I mean, shit, if you want to get one, go ahead, but you're going to spend a lot of money. This over here is only $59 more, and it's a great solid state drive. 525 megabyte per second read and write. This is going to make your computer much faster, but you're also going to have to spend a lot more money. So we're going to stick with the 1 terabyte drive just to save you guys money. And don't get scared by this price tag, the $875. If you build this computer yourself, it's going to cost around $600 to $650. Some people have gotten this computer for around $550. So it just depends on which parts you get. So yeah, I hope you guys benefit from this video. If you didn't, optical drive is fun. I hope you guys benefited from this video. If you didn't, leave a comment. I'll try to help you out. I'm going to make another video on the Intel processors and the higher range build in a moment. But to give you guys a little tip, go on this website called PCPartPicker.com, and I'll show it to you guys in just a second. PC, oh my god, I'm hitting the space bar. PCPartPicker.com, and this is the website that you can choose your processor, your motherboard, and it'll show you the cheapest place to get all the parts. So I really recommend, if you want to build your computer, go to this website. Over here, I already assembled a build that I'm going to show in my next video for the 2500K, and I got it for really cheap for $687. So it's probably a little more expensive than the AMD, but much more performance for the money. So if you want to build a computer by yourself, go with this build over here. I'll show you guys this build in the next video. Hope you guys benefit from this video, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out.